waiting for me to make a choice. I am sure I left my body for what seemed like an eternity, but it can't have been more than a few seconds. I go from feeling shocked and troubled, stuck in my worst nightmare, to being perfectly still. All anxious thoughts leave my mind as time and space come to a halt. In that moment, I am shown that nothing that ever happens is out of place. There is perfect order, and I feel very safe. Wars and famines don't even cause a blip here, let alone my own personal struggles. Everything I have ever striven for, beauty, order, and happiness, is here, and I am part of it. This awareness softly permeates and saturates every cell and atom of my being as I am being suspended above my body. I am filled with a deep sense of calm. I exist, and for the first time in my life, there is complete absence of fear. I can feel all of creation inside me, and yet I am only a tiny part of it. I am inextricably connected to it all. I am loved by something far greater than me, something timeless and unchanging. It is time to let go. I feel myself expand to take in this new realization, that there is only unconditional love, peace, and calm in the place where I am. Part 1. Chapter 1. Premonitions and Frogs. Until the day of the accident, I had lived a life other people would probably call blessed. The best thing that ever happened to me, at the very mature age of 17, was meeting Peter in Holland. Peter, 21 at the time, had left behind the sugarcane fields of Queensland to surprise his brother Winston. Winston was getting married to my cousin, who had grown up in the same village as I did. Fate had it that his brother worked for my dad, so I was introduced to Peter the day after he arrived in Holland. Peter and I became instant soulmates and felt so comfortable with each other that we married not long after. That's the short version. In case my children, grandchildren, or future generations read this book, I will try to describe how we got together. A month before Peter arrived in Holland, I had a highly intuitive experience. I was riding my bike home from high school when I suddenly got the urge to stop and lie in the long grass next to the bike track. Normally, I would take the train to cover the 15-kilometer distance from home to school. This day, I rode my bike. Instead of taking the most direct route, I had taken a bike track that meandered through the green belts between the villages I had to pass through. I loved overlooking the flat landscape of the north of Holland, the contrast of the busy highways in the distance, and the utter peacefulness of the cows grazing nearby. I loved listening to the frog songs that came from the canals and small waterways that chopped up the landscape in neat green patches. Everything in Holland is neat, from the tiny kitchen living areas, perfectly manicured outdoor areas, to entire towns, farmlands, and forests. It's the Dutch psyche, and how we like it. Suddenly, I felt such a oneness with my surroundings that I wanted to stay in that moment forever. I hopped off my bike, unstrapped my heavy school bag, and flopped down into the long grass between the bike track and the canal. I reveled in the illusion that I was completely at one with nature and far removed from the pressures of school and the expectations of home, church, and society. Overwhelming love and gratitude welled up in me as I looked up at the sky. I shut my eyes as the grass prickled and caressed my neck and face. I sensed the universe inviting me to ask anything, and I would receive the answer. My heart and mind became one as I realized that if this was all I would ever experience, it was enough. I felt complete. Everything I would ever want for was already there. If I left the world now, everyone and everything I had ever known, I would be utterly fine with that. I felt my heart expand till it felt like it burst and filled my body with bubbles of happiness. After a long time, I woke up to reality. The sun was losing its strength. Shivering, I strapped my school bag, heavy with language, biology, history, and geography textbooks, back onto my bike and rode home. I realized that all the knowledge I gained from those books would never buy me any real wisdom. That came from a different source. Stuffing my head with studies every spare moment was only